why has that become such an important part of your business?
My goodness, that's a great question. For us, it's important. I mean, for me, and the reason why I train my team to do that, and that's been our motto from the beginning, is because
Okay, most people think about health in terms of nutrition, exercise, and supplements. But what if one of the biggest contributor to long-term health is something we use every single day without a second thought, our water? Anna Khait is the founder of Healthy Technologies, a company focused on helping families create healthier homes through clean water, clean air, and chemical-free living. After transitioning from a successful career in television, Anna chose a very different path, building a business centered around education, transparency, and practical health solutions. Today, her mission is simple: help families make informed decisions about the quality of the water they drink and the air they breathe and the environment that they live in. Today, we are going to talk about entrepreneurship, clean water, environmental health, consumer awareness, faith driven business, and why prevention is always better than cure. Welcome to the show, Anna.
thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So, from the public figure to entrepreneurship, how did it all start? Take us through your early life and how did you go into the television industry?
Well, my family, I'm originally from communist Russia. My family brought me here when I was 4 years old, grew up in New York City, and never thought about going into business, never thought about going into television. I was pre med, I was going to go to medical school, was major in biology. And life has a funny way of kind of redirecting your steps sometimes. And I actually played a lot of different sports growing up, and one of my favorite, I wouldn't say it's a sport, but more of a strategy game, a mental strategy game, was poker. So I got really into professional, became a professional poker player, traveled around the world playing, and happened to also really love the show Survivor since I was a child. So I really wanted to get on that show, and ended up
Mhm.
trying out in 2015 and got on the show, and it was an amazing experience, and got back from Survivor, and my life drastically changed. I think my ambitions, my view and perspective on life changed. So it was
Mhm.
quite an extraordinary 180, and was about to go back to medical school, but decided I didn't really want to just prescribe medicine all day. And so COVID, a little later on, happened, and that changed everything for me. I think the
Mhm.
transparency that is lacking in our community and in our world is very scary. And so I started really digging into what is in our water, what is in our air, what is in our cookware, what toxins do we have in our home, and that deep dive ended up forming a business. But it's really a company to really help people live a longer and healthier life. And being on Survivor, living in nature, fresh air, fresh water, really changed that perspective for me, that everyone deserves to live in a clean environment.
So, Anna, your career is really a unique path from television, then starting and founding Healthy Technologies. What inspired that transition? So, yeah, you told me about that after the Survivor, you decided not to pursue medicine. And, with COVID and everything, you had a very different perspective on life. So, it was just the COVID effect or something else which inspired you to start Healthy Technologies?
It really was COVID. It was COVID. And I was trying to find an air filter that would actually work and not only remove dust, but also sanitize the environment. And as I was
Mhm.
doing research, I couldn't find anything out there. I actually had a friend of mine, it was really divine providence, a pastor friend of mine said, you need to look into this air device. It's on the space station. It has a technology that not only removes dust and pollen, but it'll actually create molecular hydrogen peroxide. It'll go into the atmosphere and then sanitize the atmosphere. It kills COVID, kills viruses, kills DNA, kills DNA viruses, RNA viruses, bacteria, mold. I go, huh, interesting. So I started looking into it, and sent one to my sister. This was really the trigger of it. She had severe asthma. She was using her inhaler 16 times a day during COVID in 2021. We were all like freaking out. We're all nervous for her. We don't want her to get COVID. And I sent her this machine, and I said, let me know what you think. She at the time just rescued a few animals and they were in the basement because she was so severely allergic. She was, she had a severe uptick. So she was using her inhaler 16 times a day. I sent her the machine. She called me the next morning. She's a PA. So she's a physician's assistant. And she said, Anna, what is this? Because my sleep was perfect. I slept all night long, did not wake up once, not use my inhaler once all night. I said, monitor how often you use it. And so that week turned into a month of testing, turned to a few months of testing. Long story short, within 6 months, she was completely off of her inhaler. She hasn't used it in the last 5 years. So when that happened, when that testimony happened, and I said, wow, this technology is amazing, I just started telling everybody. And so my friend said, why don't you do this as a business? Reach out to the company, see if you can sell this technology. And we got them into schools, and that's where the business took off. But water was always a question people would ask me because yes, their air is better. Yes, their air quality, they're a lot of their kids they're off their inhalers as well. And then they asked me, well, what do you do for water filtration? I said, well, we don't really do water filtration, but make sure it removes this, that. And then eventually I realized, why don't I look into a filtration system that can do that? And we did our research, couldn't find a company. Every company was proprietary filters, can't tell you how much percentage they remove anything, don't have any independent testing. And I thought, okay, this is like almost like a big scam. You're just buying very simple filters. They don't really remove effectively what most people want to remove from the water: chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, hormones, pesticides, herbicides, glyphosates. We remove all that. And so it took us some time to be able to develop something, and found another great company we work with as well that has amazing filtration media. And so that's what it's I want to say we transitioned, but I would just say we added to our portfolio of healthy technologies, because it's not just the water, it's not just the air, it's also, with chemicals in our home. So we also have technologies. You don't have to use any chemicals in your home. We have a steamer. You can clean your whole home and vacuum. It's a steamer and a vacuum in one. And there's 16 attachments. You don't need chemicals in your home. So that's what sparked it, was a testimony with my sister, was just starting to sell technologies. And I never thought I was going to get into business. I don't know anything about business. I didn't go to school. I don't have an MBA in business.
Mm-hmm.
I just started doing trade shows, and I just started explaining to people what the technology is and why it's beneficial for their family, and actually why they're investing into their own health.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what products do you make under Healthy Technologies? So I heard about the air filter, I heard about the water, and now the steamer also for your home cleaning. What all do you have? What comes under that umbrella of Healthy Technologies?
Yeah, we have under our umbrella, we have hospital grade air filtration, right? We have, commercial grade water filtration. We have, we have some incredible technologies you just mentioned. We have, our air filter, our water filter. We have a steamer vacuum for your home. We have a system and a device you can hook up to your washing machine, and it will activate every water molecule coming in, and it'll make it basically create it into like an oxidizing agent. And so you don't even need to really use detergent. So we try to eliminate as many chemicals as we can in the home. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's actually the same technology that's in our air filter. And that technology will polarize every single water molecule and basically ionize it. And so the water, funny enough, when I was doing research, it's really not detergent that cleans clothes. It's actually the water molecules, when they're activated a bit, which they're emulsified by detergent, the water is really the one that cleans the clothes and cleans the dirt. Well, if we can activate every water molecule, we don't need detergent. We don't need chemicals. There's a chemical residue in our clothes after we do our wash, right? We have a lot of people are allergic. People have rashes. They don't even know where it's coming from. A lot of times it's actually the chemical residue on your clothes. Well, you can actually eliminate detergent. I mean, I haven't bought detergent in 5 years. Literally save money. So most of our technologies actually pay for themselves. Not only are they healthier, but they pay for themselves. And another thing too, if you're not using detergent, your clothes will last longer. Your towels are fluffier. Your colors are brighter because you're not using detergent, which breaks down fabric. So we have so much. We have If you have hard water, we obviously also have, a softener, but we have another alternative to a softener. We have something called a saltless conditioner. So we can remove the
Mhm.
hardness without using salt, without backwash, without, maintenance and all of that. Really good for the environment as well. So we have tons of different technologies that people may probably have not heard of before is in our umbrella.
Wow, this is amazing. And how affordable are these products?
Yes, some of them are quite affordable. Some of them are more, a little bit more than the average. For example, our water filter, right? An average water filter is, let's say, 2,500 to 3,500. Well, when you really dig into what filters they're using something called like a activated carbon filtration. They also usually have a KDF 55 filter. That's for heavy metals. The activated carbon is for, chlorine, chloramine, bad odor, bad taste, some volatile organic compounds, but they don't really remove fluoride. It doesn't remove pesticides, herbicides, pharmaceuticals, glyphosates, hormones from the water. So there's a lot that it doesn't remove. So you can spend, let's say, 3,000 or 3,500 on a system that doesn't really effectively filter what most people want to filter out, which is fluoride, again, pharmaceuticals, et cetera. So if you spend an extra 1,000, you can actually have a superb filtration system. And the other thing too, I want to tell people and warn people, and it's on our website, we're all about educating the consumer and then making the best decision you can for your family. And one of the biggest loopholes, I should say, that a lot of water filtration companies do, and this is just having been in the industry now for some time, for like 3 years, is that a lot of water filter companies, they don't want you to be able to do a backwash on the system. They don't want you to be able to regenerate the media. They want you to completely buy a brand new media inside
Yeah.
every year or every 6 months. That is really where the water companies make their money. It's really on the replacement. So for us on our system, you'll spend a little bit more, but guess what? You can backwash it once a year. It takes 10 minutes. And your system will last for 6 years before we recommend changing the inside. So instead of every year, 6 months, it's every 6 years. In a lot of cases, actually every 7 years. So an average every 6 to 7 years. So we'll save the consumer a
Wow.
lot more money in the long run, but it's also the most effective filtration system. We have an 8-stage filtration system. Unlike others that have 2 or 3 or 5, we have 8 stages of filtration.
Wow. And for the washing machine, where it will take away the detergent altogether, it is some kind of an equipment that goes between the water faucet and the machine intake.
It's actually going to be the cold water line that goes into the washing machine. So instead of the cold, there's a cold line and a hot line. So you turn the water off, you unscrew the cold line, you put our system, which is about this big, you plug it in, and then we give you an extra hose to connect from the system to the washing machine. So it's just an extra little step. So it's only the cold water line. In fact, I haven't used hot water to do my laundry in 5.5 years. So you actually save money on your hot water heater as well. So yeah, it's just cold water. We activate every water molecule. So usually here's the thing too with hot water. Interesting fact. There's a lot of doctors who love our system because a lot of doctors have white scrubs. They have blood on it, right? They can't put their scrubs into hot water because what happens is that hot water, it sets the stain. How? Well, because when you use hot water on a blood vessel, right, that blood cell, it will actually burst. So the components in there will actually stick to the clothes and it's never going to come off. So doctors do not use hot water. They actually use cold water with hydrogen peroxide. Well, our system, same technology as our air filter, will activate every water molecule, only use cold water, and we actually have that patent in there to create that molecular hydrogen peroxide. So doctors love our system, but it's really for anybody and everybody who wants to be a little bit more healthy and natural.
And what is the price point on this system for the washing machine?
Yeah, the washing machine for a long time was 1,500. With our manufacturer, it was a bit more expensive, but now the system is 800. And you usually buy detergent for, let's say, an average $300 to $400 a year. Some people maybe 200 a year. That adds up over time. It'll really pay for itself in about 2.5 years. So I haven't used any detergent in 5.5 years. So I'm now putting money in my pocket. So, and with the other thing too, we do work with every budget. So we do have payment plans. We have monthly payments as well. I mean, we work with anyone and everyone, and we want everyone to have an access to clean water and clean air and no chemicals.
Mhm. And the product is manufactured here, or are you importing it from China?
No, our most of our products are made in America. Some products are made in Italy. For example, our grounding mattress is made in Italy. Our steamer vacuum is made in Italy, but everything else is made in America. We have the laundry unit is made in Bristol, Virginia. Our air filter as well, and our water filter is made in Florida. We
Wow.
also, by the way, we also work with well water. So if you have well water, highly recommend getting your water tested. We have a link on our website to test your water. And then we can then custom build a system for you. And our custom build systems are made in Utah. So we are made in America, made in Italy.
Wow. What a journey coming from communist Russia to here, going into Survivor, and prior to that to medical school, and then decided to become an entrepreneur without an MBA degree, that too in manufacturing, and then lot of technological innovative products. It is an amazing story, Hannah.
Yeah, you know
Kudos
what?
to you.
Well, honestly, all glory to God because it's not me and it's not my plan. It's not what I wanted to do or thought I was ever going to do. But I thank God because, God really gives the resources. Because when your heart and your mission is really genuinely to help people and you want to have the best of the best for them, God will, when He gives you that passion and you really follow through, He will open those doors for you. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
that are motivated by money, and sure, we need money to be able to survive. It's not a bad thing, but it's the love of money. The Bible says that is the root of all evil. So when your love is to help people, the money will follow, the doors will open, and success will follow as well. And so it's been an incredible journey. Just having the air filter during COVID, I was able to retire my mom in 3 months. And it was such a blessing to my family, and they were shocked. Some of my family members and Shaman still tell me, when are you going to get a normal job? When are you going to get a real job? Like, I've done that. I've done the 9 to 5. I could be a doctor if I want to. I can go back to school right now. I mean, I have the mental capacity to do it. I love science, but I'm reaching more people. I'm helping more people. And I'm actually helping with the help of holistic doctors and wellness doctors go to the root cause of all of these diseases. A lot of it is inflammation. Well, we have a lot of products that decrease inflammation. We have the grounding mattress. We have alkaline water system. We have a hydrogen water system that will decrease inflammation. So, it's an incredible journey to have gotten here, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been incredible. And now I have to tell you a little thing that's happening with us now. We are now getting into the hotel space too. We're telling hotels, listen, you can make healthy, clean rooms. Like for me, for example, I travel a lot. I know you travel a lot. I bring my
Mhm.
shower filter with me. I bring my grounding pillow with me. I bring my little my little H2 fuel, little molecular
Mhm.
hydrogen thing with me. Anyway, but I unscrew their shower filter and put mine on because I don't like coming out and having dry skin, dry hair. So we're working with the hotels now to get our clean technologies in their facilities, and we're actually the Lord is also opening the door up with athletes. They use hyperbaric chamber, they use red light
Yeah.
therapy. One of the biggest missing piece is grounding, and we have the only patented grounding mattress in the world. No toxins, no chemicals, breathable foam. Will help them recover faster, helps decrease inflammation, and so we're getting
Mhm.
into the sports space now, and it's quite a journey.
Yeah, in the Indian yoga teaching, they say that with your barefoot, walk on grass early in the morning when there are dews on the grass, and that helps you in grounding and taking all the negative energy and giving it back to the earth.
Yeah, it's really
So,
true. The ground releases electrons, and electrons are needed in our electron transport chain in our mitochondria. So when a
mhm,
cell or tissue is damaged, those cells can recover on their own. They don't need the immune system. They just need to recover. What they do need are electrons. So electrons come from the earth. We're actually meant to walk on the earth 3 hours a day. Most people don't do that. Most people don't have the time to walk barefoot 3 hours a day, right? So you can actually take the power of grounding into your own home while you're sleeping for 8 hours a night, or 7 hours, or 6 hours a night, or even 10 hours a
mhm,
night, right? You can get those electrons. Those electrons, when they go into those damaged cells, they can recover quicker, right? They can repair themselves faster. They don't really release something called cytokines, which is a signaling molecule, into the blood, which calls over the immune
mhm.
system. So because they're repairing on their own, they don't really release that cytokine. It doesn't induce that massive inflammatory response of the immune system. So you have less inflammation, less pain, quicker recovery, quicker cell repair, quicker you're back in the field. So we need electrons, that's for sure. And also, what the cool thing is, it blocks EMFs, 4Gs, 5G, and all that. So your body can relax, your muscles can relax, and your body can rejuvenate and heal while you're sleeping. Your body's healing, and now you're giving it that extra boost when you're sleeping.
Wow, great. So,
Really.
Anna, entrepreneurship often requires reinventing yourself, which you have done. What has been the biggest lesson you have learned while building the healthy technologies?
I would say not giving up. I would say not giving up. Let me think about this, because there are so many other, my gosh, there's so many lessons I've learned along the way. Like I was saying, one of them is not giving up. It might seem like you have an incredible product, and how do you get it out there? How do you explain it to people? Like our products, they're a little bit pricier than something that someone would regularly buy in Costco or in Target or Walmart, right? You have to really educate the consumer on what they're purchasing, and then show them the benefits. And then they realize, oh, this is something we actually really need. And it's better than the products you'll find in other stores, right? It's going to last longer. It's going to do what you really want it to do. So I think getting over the hurdle of, okay, how do I get this product out there? It's taking some time. Some things are quick. Some things are not so quick. Most things are not quick. So it's just having that patience and knowing that you have this passion for a reason. And I was given this passion for a reason. And so I know God will open those doors for me. I just have to just pull up my bootstraps and keep moving, and be open to meeting people that you never really thought you were going to meet. Being open to having conversations with people you never really thought you were going to sit down with, because you never know the people that they know. And let me think. Another kind of remind me your question again. I'm trying to think of something else.
So, what are the biggest lessons that you have learned while building healthy technologies?
One of the biggest lessons we have learned. Well, one of the biggest lessons we've definitely learned is that the society is so unhealthy, which I know a lot of us know, but going deeper into what is in our water, and then going to a restaurant, and even people that I have meetings with, that are so into health, and they work out and they eat clean and they do organic, and we sit at a restaurant to have a meeting, and they're just drinking the tap water right from the glass that's on the table. And I usually don't say anything. I'm just like, okay, I have my own little water bottle I bring. I have my own, I filter my water, double filter my water, I have my alkaline water with me. I have my little vitamins in there. And so I'm drinking out of my little flask. And I usually ask, is it okay if I take my flask? Oh yeah, sure. If some restaurants don't allow me to, I'll ask for a glass and I'll put it in the glass. But it's pretty astounding how much we're conditioned with chemicals in our home. And then some people that are in the health space with the water. Here's another example. I don't ever eat tomatoes when I'm out in public in the restaurant. I only eat tomatoes at home. So the reason is because tomatoes are fruits. They're full of pesticides and herbicides. So we have technologies, high alkaline water that will actually clean the pesticides. You don't need alkaline water. You can do baking soda. You can also do different soaps. But having been aware of that, coming from sprouts, having my organic vegetables, putting in alkaline water or baking soda, and seeing that the water turns yellow, all those pesticides and herbicides come off. Because look, farmers need to use pesticides. Unfortunately, I don't want them to, but some of them they have to, on fruits. Otherwise they won't have a business. So they spray it with pesticides. Pests and little flies and little insects won't eat it. So then they give it to us. So you're thinking you're all healthy. You go to the gym, you're eating your salad, you go to or Whole Foods, you go to Sprouts, but they're full of pesticides and herbicides, which are actually carcinogenic for us. They lead to cancers and different diseases, right? So you're eating your vegetables and you think you're healthy. You're actually not. You're actually poisoning your body. And long term, it has a severe health effect on your body. So having been aware of that, your lifestyle kind of changes. And then, when the Lord opens an opportunity, when I feel like they can kind of hear me out, like I'll ask them, once in a while, hey, do you drink that tap water? Or do you want to do bottled water instead for now? I mean, it's still not good, but it's better than, just straight tap water that is not filtered. So it's a bit of, it's life changing. Your perspective changes. And it's crazy how people think they're really healthy, but they're actually not. They look buff on the outside, but inside they're full of chemicals. And I think that was the biggest wake up call for me.
Yeah. So, Anna, next two questions are going to be on water. All the consumers, all of us, hear the term like chlorine, fluoride, heavy metal, VOCs, and pharmaceuticals in the water, but we don't really understand the impact of that. You go out, as you rightly said, we get still water, we drink that with ice cubes or whatever, or we have a bottled water, Aquafina, in any of the brands which are out there in Ralph's and all these stores. What should the homeowner actually know about water?
It's a great question. When I talk to homeowners, I ask them, where do you get your drinking water from? They always tell me, oh, bottled water. Oh, okay. Are you aware that about 40% of bottled water in the bottle, usually most companies, about 40% of it is tap water?
Yeah.
Most of them don't know that. And then I
Yeah.
ask them, do you shower in your bottled water? Do you brush your teeth with your bottled water? Do you take a bath do you cook with your bottled water? A lot of times they say no, of course they don't, right? Well, there is a system you can put onto your home and your main line. It's very simple to do. A plumber will do it. It takes about a few hours, and all of your water source will be filtered, right? So all of your faucets, all of your showers, all of your baths, they will be filtered. Because here's the problem. It's, the city at the municipality where they filter, quote unquote, the water, they don't really filter. They're just, they're removing the macro parts, obviously, because technically the cities should be using groundwater, but there's a lot of cities that are finally transparent. California, for example, just announced that they're going to be using sewage water in 2027 to filter and then recycle sewage water. There's a lot of cities already doing that around the country. They're just not telling people about that. One of the main reasons you can know that it's definitely sewage water, if you ever get that water tested, if you find pharmaceuticals in the water or hormones in the water, you're definitely having recycled sewage water. Why? Because you're not going to find pharmaceuticals in groundwater. You're not going to find hormones in groundwater. You're going to find it in sewage water. People, women go to the bathroom. We have hormones we release. If a woman is on Plan B, those hormones are released, right? Pharmaceuticals, people throw it down the toilet or in the trash, but sometimes down the toilet, if it's expired, that's going. So that's how your city's using recycled sewage water. Well, here's the thing. They've removed the macro things, but the micro things they do not, right? The hormones, the herbicides, the pesticides, the pharmaceuticals you don't want in your water, right? Ibuprofen, caffeine, things you don't want to drink. On top of all, the fluoride that they put in the water. Funny enough, fluoride is the only chemical that the city puts in the water that actually does not treat the water. It treats humans, right? Fluoride is used as a form of anti-cavity from dentists, right? And they use it all the time. Well, fluoride is a byproduct of fertilizers. So the city puts it on our water. It's actually not meant to treat the water. It's actually meant to literally to treat us. Well, I want to decide what I treat my body with. Thank you very much. It's not up to the city to decide that. Let's talk about chlorine. Chlorine is something the city puts in to protect you, to treat the water. Well, how does it protect us? Well, it kills bacteria. Okay, so chlorine is used to kill bacteria. Here's the problem. Chlorine, when it's in our water, reacts with other organic material to create a lot of very harmful byproducts. For example, THMs, trihalomethanes. Trihalomethanes have been linked to bladder cancer, infertility, liver cancer. And so it has led to a lot of other diseases as well. So you have not just the chemicals itself, but you also have the byproducts of these chemicals reacting together that is extremely harmful to our health. You're brushing your teeth in it. You're showering in it. Your skin is absorbing. Your skin is the largest organ on your body, right? Your babies, which by the way, fluoride is a neurotoxin. It stunts development. So your babies especially should not be swimming in fluoride water. They should not be brushing their teeth in fluoride water. They should be not using fluoride in their toothpaste. I'm not trying to be conspiratorial, but these are clinical trials. This is science, right? These are the facts. Fluoride is a neurotoxin. That's why they tell you don't swallow your fluoride. You can brush your teeth in it, but don't swallow it. Well, guess what? Your pores inside of your mouth are absorbing the fluoride. It's absorbing the chlorine. I mean, I can do a test in front of you right now. If I take tap water chlorine and I put a few OTO drops, you'll see the water turns yellow. That shows it's chlorine in the water. Now, if I take the same tap water and put rice in there, after a few minutes, I can take the rice out. That water, I can test it. It won't turn yellow. Why? Because the chlorine was absorbed by the rice. If I take the same, another batch of tap water, and I put it in my mouth, gargle it, and spit it back out, and I put the OTO test again, well, guess what? There's no chlorine in there. Where is it? It's in my mouth. It was absorbed by my pores in my mouth. So your mouth absorbs it. And it's mind-boggling and scary when you think about it, but there's solutions to it. You don't have to be scared. You can actually have a real solution for your home and your family. And and one home at a time. Unfortunately, it's up to us because our city is not doing it.
Yeah.
They're harming us.
What is the biggest misconception people have when buying water filtration system? Because so much of marketing is going on, for this large water filtration company. So much of marketing material is being thrown out, digital ads and whatnot. Give us some learning that a homeowner is educated when they're buying a good water filtration system.
It's a great question. I would say the biggest tip I can give is just because you heard that name really often and everyone talks about a certain company names, there's actually a few companies that are like number one in water filtration. Just because they're very commonly heard doesn't mean it's the best. It doesn't. It's because you're right, because of the marketing, because of the ads, because of their, unfortunately, they're marketed a lot. I'll say that they market a lot, and they're in a lot of these main stores, right? They have these big department stores. So just because you hear it often doesn't mean it's the best. I would be really careful. There's 4 main things when it comes to water. We have it on our website listed for you as a consumer to do your own research. Number 1, when you call a company, and I recommend, don't believe me, do this, test this theory. Okay, call them, ask them these 4 questions. Number 1, what are your filters made of? Most companies, when I call them years ago, it's crazy. I called every single water company, and this is exactly what they said. Most of them would say, it's proprietary. Our filters are proprietary. I can't tell you. Every filter is, it's proprietary. Okay. How's that? How is every filter proprietary? Second question. What is the percentage of removal? You have on your website, you remove chlorine, fluoride. Actually, most of them don't even say fluoride. Chlorine, VOCs, this and that. What is the percentage of removal parts per billion? A lot of them will say, oh, we don't have any percentage of removal. You don't have any, third question, you don't have any independent testing on your system? No, we don't have any independent testing. How do I know that your filter is going to do what it's going to do? Okay, you don't. You really don't. So number 4, I ask them, what is the maintenance like? How often do I replace it? Is there a backwash on the system? How often do I replace it, and how much does that cost? Most of them will say there's no backwash. You have to replace it every 6 months or every year. Okay, how much is that? Write that down, do the math. So you don't know what your filters are made of. You don't know really what they're removing, how much of it they're removing. They don't have any independent testing. You have to change the filters every 6 months, although you don't even know what the filters are made of, right? So you have all of these. I mean, I was shocked when I really jumped into the water industry, and I realized, wow, people are just buying the name. And I don't want to call anyone out because I'm not going to disparage them, but big names, one starts with a C, one starts with an A, and you're like, oh, everyone talks about them. Okay, they must be good. No, they're not. Actually, calling those companies myself as well, which I recommend you do, proprietary. Some of them actually do say, well, we have activated carbon and KDF55 filter. Again, activated carbon is chlorine, right? Bad odor, bad taste, and chloramines and THMs. That's good to remove. 100% you need to remove. Now, and some of them are, KDF55 filter, which is heavy metals. That's great too. But you're missing a lot of other filtration medias. Now, what I would tell people that people sometimes call us and ask and say, we already have a filter on our house. That's great. That you don't have to remove it. What you could do if you really want to have really clean water, you can put our systems side by side. Now you have like a double filter. It doesn't hurt, right? You don't really have to change the filter media as much in the second one, because the first one is kind of doing a lot of the brunt of the filtration. So I would put our system first. So you don't have to remove what you already have. You can, but you don't have to. You can actually, if you don't have a system, I would highly recommend asking these 4 questions when you do your research, and then make your best decision on where is it the value there to get the best system out there that will actually last you a really long time and really be
Right.
effective? That's an answer and a question that homeowners have to make.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna, for that. In this segment, I'm going to talk about building trust through education. One thing that stands out in healthy technologies is your focus on educating before selling. Why has that become such an important part of your business?
My goodness, that's a great question. For us, it's important. I mean, for me, and the reason why I train my team to do that, and that's been our motto from the beginning, is because I'm a consumer myself.
Mhm.
Everything in our portfolio is everything I have in my own home that I love and I'm passionate about, and that is very effective. And in the long run, is really helping my health. So for me as a consumer, I would want to know why I'm buying something. You know, when I was little, my mom would always tell me, out of all the kids, you would always ask, why, mama? Why this? Why that? And she would always, and then to give me an answer, and then I'd say, oh, but why, mama? You know, and I was very inquisitive as a little kid. I wanted to know how things work, and I wanted to know why things work. And why do we need it? I mean, when I was in school, why are we learning this? This is, am I going to need
Yeah.
this when I'm older? You know, and it's true. A lot of it we didn't even need, right? But a lot of things we did need to know. So it's funny. For me personally, I would want to know. So I put myself in my customer's shoes, and I say, why do they want to purchase this? Let me go, and having had some training, you know, throughout the years of trade shows and meeting people and hearing their questions, hearing their concerns, what worries them the most with their kids and their health and their parents' health. And having heard that, I know that's basically the main questions people have. So I like to answer them before they even ask me, because I want them to realize, by God's grace, I know what I'm talking about. We've had
Mhm.
so much education. I'm learning every single day. I'm reading clinical trials on grounding and water, and I'm always researching. Our team is always researching, is always learning. So we want to give that education back to our clients. That let's be honest, a lot of times they don't have time to research. They don't really have to have kids to take care of. They have work and they have a busy schedule, and they don't really have the time to find out, what are the other companies doing? Why is this one better? I want to tell them up front, this is why we're different. This is what you're investing in. This is why you came to the right place. But if you want to do your research and double check, here's how you do it. Here's what you ask. Here's what you can find out. And a lot of times they'll call them the other company, and they'll call me back and say, yeah, you're right. I say, well, we want to be as transparent as possible, because I wasn't given that transparency as a consumer. So that's why we are different, in that we want to give the education first. Here's how we're different, and then, you know, they can make their best decision. So all of our filter media is transparent. We have independent testing. We have a 6-page report of independent testing of everything our whole house water filter removes. We have independent testing of our under sink filter. We have all of our filters, like I said, is transparent. There's one little proprietary blend, and we tell people we put silver in there. We don't really tell people, but there's silver in our proprietary blend. It's antimicrobial, right? So you won't have a biofilm of bacteria when you come home from vacation. We do remove bacteria as well. And if there is anything that stayed there, well, again, that silver will prevent it from
Mhm.
replicating. So we're transparent, because as a consumer, that's what I would expect from a company.
Mhm. Mhm. Great. We live in the digital world. There is no shortage of conflicting health information out there. How can consumers separate facts from marketing?
Ooh, that's a great question. Data, clinical trials, independent testing. Independent testing is vital. And
Mhm.
a lot of big companies that have they're able to do independent testing. It's not very easy for a smaller company to do it, although some companies do it, and that's awesome. Independent
Mhm.
testing is huge. So I would say, dig through. First, you have to educate yourself, right? You want to be able to dig through what claims they're making and what their thing is doing. Do research. I use ChatGPT to cross reference
Yeah.
different clinical trials. I love GPT. I mean, you can literally, and I tell, give me all the clinical trials for grounding. And I will read them. I will go through them. I will compare and contrast. Compare this article to this article. Compare this company to this company. And compare what that makes this different. So you can actually use GPT as a tool where you can take different water companies and say, hey, tell me what is different about them. And what GPT is funny. I had a few, actually not a few, a bunch of people call me. How did you hear it? We always ask, how did you hear about us? we have a lot of people say through ChatGPT. I go, wow, that's awesome. How did you do that? Well, we just put in all the different companies and we said which one is the best. And you educate people, you list what they need, what consumers should be careful of, what they need to ask, when they need to do, and then you actually do it. You actually give the filters, you give the whole list. You have a video of it, you walk them through the backwash, you walk them through how to install it, you walk them through, independent testing, and all of it is there. So, which is such a compliment, and I really appreciate that, and I'm glad GPT notices it, because we, you have to be transparent with the consumer. When a company's not transparent, there's a problem. So when you dig through all the marketing and you get to the facts of it, what are your filters made of? What does it remove? What does it not remove? And do they have independent testing? When you get to the main core, which most companies, they don't want to go there because it's very simple, basic filtration. They just want to put something on your home and charge you $3,000. Well, those filters are not worth $3,000. I'll tell you that right now. They're not. It's maybe worth $1,000. 600 maybe, not 3,000. So they're missing a lot of filter medias where we put in that will actually make that 3,000 go a long way, because you're missing so much that you actually need to have. So do your research. GPT is a great tool, and compare and contrast through GPT is a great way to get an answer.
Great, thank you. Now we are going to talk about entrepreneurship, faith, and purpose. You have said that healthy technologies were built on faith. Mm-hmm. How has your faith influenced the way you lead your business?
Ooh, well, it was God who really inspired me to start the business. In fact, when I was an atheist, I had an encounter with Jesus, not to be religious, but I had an encounter with Jesus. He showed me, heaven and hell and how real it is, but how much he loves people. And he wants everyone to go home to him at the end of our lives. And so I got saved. I didn't play poker. I quit poker. I left my whole life to go back to what I thought was going to be medical school. And I remember asking him, I said, should I go back to medical school? And I very clearly heard a voice, you can if you want to, but I'm going to be showing you my technologies around the world. You're going to put it under one portfolio, and you're going to help people live a longer and healthier life, because my people are not living their full lifespan. And I go, number one, I don't know anything about business. Number two, I don't know anything about technology. And I really felt like God pressed in my heart, that's okay. I will teach you. And so, yes, you can go to school and learn these things. Sure. You can go to MBA school and learn about business. I don't have the time, 4 or 5 years, 6 years. I think it's awesome. I would love to. I wish I could pause time and go to school. That would be ideal. Right. And then go back. But the problem is that people need this now. They need it now. And so I don't want to waste time. And so I was very blessed that God really walked me through doing research and studying on my own, because I'm an avid studier. So I would sit and study and learn and dig. And there was a technology I would sit at my table 2 weeks straight, morning to night. I'm blessed that my mom was living with me at the time. She'd make me coffee and I would just sit and read and study and realize, oh, okay, now I think I understand the technology. And there's still things I need to learn, right? So if you're a constant studier and learner of a certain technology or a certain, water, for example, years and years of studying water, where it came from. Thank God, the minutia, having studied biochemistry, it makes sense to me. I understand physiologically how it's affecting the body, what your kidney filters out, all these little things that really have the medical background, right? The biology background with the technology, that not background, but learning, which you could do if you sit down and actually really study it and really learn. Of course, talking to engineers, of course, talking to experts. I'm not an expert in the field at all, but I talk to engineers who are experts, So having a great team and great companies that you align with, it really, really helps as well. Talking to people that are smarter than you, learning from people. So along the way, I've learned, okay, talking to water experts. I've learned so much from water experts, having to sit down with them and talk to them, and they explain, okay, this is how this works. This is how this affects this. This is how these two molecules come together. So having done that and continue to do it is the key to really understanding what you're doing and how you're helping people. That pushes the passion, because when you see what it actually does to the body, and that when you remove it, how it helps people, going back to nature, going back to how God designed the world. He designed clean water, clean air, no chemicals, right? He created it beautiful and holy and pure. And unfortunately,
Mhm.
man has destroyed that and has, really changed that. And so we that's one of our mottos is God made it clean, man made it toxic. We fix that. And we fix
Mhm.
that with some of the most innovative technologies in the world. And we continue to innovate, we continue to design, we continue to patent. And we continue to find other entrepreneurs who have a great product where we can help them and put their product in our portfolio as well. So there's a lot of companies we team up with, and everything's very, very vetted and very stringently. And then we also pray about it. God, is this good? Is this? He goes, no, not this one. Okay, there's another one out there. So that's how it's faith driven. The mission is people.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you so much for that answer, Anna. Building any business requires resilience. What challenges have tested you the most and what kept you moving forward?
Yeah, some of the challenges, I would say would be like holiday seasons, right? After holidays, like after Christmas, January and February, a lot of small businesses, they notice that like a not many
Yeah,
sales because consumers are recovering from all the
yeah.
money they spent for their kids on Christmas, right? So I would say those months, not looking at it as a negative and not looking at it as a problem, but looking at it as an opportunity, right? So sitting down, okay, this is time where I can do my research. This is time where I can fix the website. This is time where I can add more education there. And so not wasting time, where I can just sit there and wait 2 months, or I can actually be actively trying to make the company better, trying to find better technologists, trying to figure out a more, other technology, patent them. So seeing times when business is a little slow as actually an opportunity and not a curse.
Right, right. You often talk about integrity and transparency. Why do you believe these qualities matter even more in today's business environment, Anna?
Well, because there's such a lack of transparency. As a consumer myself, I noticed that. And as a consumer myself, I wanted to find a company that said, hey, listen, this is what we should be talking about. Here it is. Here's a solution for it. Do your research. Don't just take our word. Do your own research, but this is what you're going to find. So, not having found that, I wanted to create an environment where we could do that and a company that we can say, listen, we are transparent with our filters. Sometimes there's a little bit of proprietary here and there, but because sometimes there's patents as well, right? So to protect your technology that you've created, right? And other
Yeah,
entrepreneurs have created. So, but being transparent and walking a consumer through and really explain to them why this technology, why this over others, why this water filter over other companies, why. And the reason is because there's so many things that a consumer doesn't know. And like as a consumer, I didn't know either. That's why when I did my research, I realized, wow, there's so many other chemicals in our water than just chlorine. There's fluoride, there's pharmaceuticals, there's hormones, there's glyphosate, there's herbicides, there's pesticides, there's semi-volatile organic compounds, then there's volatile organic compounds, VOCs. So having done research that and saying, listen, you don't need to know all of but here's the list and here's what you want to remove. And here's our independent testing of what we removed, which is this list, right? So giving people that information will really build a genuine trust in your
right.
company with the consumer. And trust is everything in a business. It is everything. If people know that you're genuine, that you're trustworthy, that you do your research, and that they can double check you and it turns out you're right and you're being honest, that's a big bonus. So we have a lot of I check my back end with the website. We have an 85% um, you know, uh, I forgot the word. It's 85% return customer. So
Mhm.
that's huge. We have an 85% return customer rate. That's massive. Most companies are lucky to even get like 5% or 10%, right? Why? Because
Right.
they try a product, let's say a water filter for their home. They love it. They say and they call me, what else do you have? What else do you recommend? What else do you do? And what else do you put in your portfolio? So we have an 85% return customer rate because they love our technology and then they want something else as well.
Wow, very
Mhm.
nice. So super, super.
Yeah.
The future of healthy living, Anna. Where do you see the home wellness industry heading in the next decade or so?
Well, I definitely see technologies being on the forefront. Probably some AI innovative, technologies as well. In the future, what would that look like? I mean, besides like robots in people's homes, um, I would say, I mean, gosh, I don't know. I picture like robots coming in and bringing you water and saying, "Here's your water. Would you like it hydrogen? Would you like it alkaline? Would you like it filtered? Would you like it this? And like, would you like it that?" And I can see that. I can see it going that way. But I think first and foremost, people really need to be aware and be educated more than ever on really what water they have in their home, what air are they breathing. 90% of people get sick indoors. Most people don't know that. And when COVID happened, they said, don't go outside. Don't go in the sun. Actually, outside is where you really don't get sick. Sun is really good to activate vitamin D, right, in our liver. So it gets activated. You need the sun, right? You need to breathe fresh air. You get sick indoors, not outdoors. So, of course, there's pollution and things like that, but that comes indoors as well. Well, you can remove the pollution. So it's really about whether you have AI and innovations or not. If the consumer is not educated, it's going to be the same old, same old. And COVID was really a blessing in disguise, where a lot of people woke up to what is really in our air. Wait, what is in our water? What are we doing with our health? How bad it really is, and how much we've been brainwashed and conditioned to take 40 plus different harmful chemicals that says do not breathe in, do not swallow in our own home, that people use like Clorox on their, to clean on their countertops, on their floors. Then you have your babies walking around and licking their hands. You have your animals that are licking their paws with all of these chemical residues on the floor. And people are wondering, why do we have cancers? One of the biggest reasons, I think, is because water. What is in our water? So I think, there AI, robots probably will be around, unfortunately, and some things are fortunately they're good at. But yeah, I don't know. You should probably ask Elon Musk. He probably knows what's ahead in the future. Yeah.
Anna, if every family could just make one change today to improve their long-term health, what would you recommend?
100%. The biggest long-term health would be your water. Water is something,
Okay.
water and food, right? You have to have it every single day. Although food you can live without it for 30 days or something, 40 days, but water you won't be able to survive without 3 days of having water. Water is going into your body. So you can remove the toxins out of your body, sure, but inside your body is number one. So I would 100% say, really do your research on what is in bottled water, right? Not only microplastics, but a lot of water we've tested, even in bottled, has chlorine in there, bacteria in there, heavy metals in there, microplastics in there. So you think you're safer drinking bottled, you're actually not, right? But you don't shower in your bottled water, you don't brush your teeth in bottled water, you don't cook with bottled water. Well, you really need to consider doing something for your water in your home. You can start with a simple shower filter. That will make a big difference. Or an under sink filter for your drinking water. But a whole house filter is the best investment you will ever make in your home for your family, hands down.
I'll become your customer pretty soon, for sure. Anna, give some entrepreneurial nuggets to young entrepreneurs who are going to start their product business. Some learnings.
Yeah. I would say, besides being open-minded, really listening to your consumer, listening to people with, as entrepreneurs, we want to solve a problem. Sometimes the problem may not even exist yet, right? I mean, like Elon, way ahead of the game, right? But they're listen to your consumer, finding out how you can fix a problem, and not fix it in a way where you'll just put a Band-Aid on it. You want to actually really, really fix a problem, or make things easier, or make things healthier, whatever your avenue is. But being open-minded to listening to experts in the field, It's so easy when you have a great idea. Oh, I know everything. I'm the best. I can do this the best. You actually don't know everything. There's so much you don't know. And there's so much you really do need to research. Take the time. Take the time to develop your product. Talk to experts in the field. Don't be closed-minded and say, oh, they're this and that. No, listen to them. Humble yourself, because pride, the Bible says, Proverbs 16:18, pride comes before a fall. So if you are in one aspect of and you don't feel pride, you really don't feel it, but it happens and it can destroy your business. It can destroy your life. And you don't want to get to the point where you're not constantly learning, constantly humbling yourself to say, okay, I don't know everything. I need to learn. And then, of course, having confidence in your product, but let people tell you this is a great product. Don't be the one to say, oh, this is the best. Let others praise you and tell you this is. And we have, for example, we have some of the most famous holistic wellness doctors in the world that love our products, that have our products, that just love to tell people about us. And we offer them, hey, we'll send you a water filter for your family, just as a thank you. They're like, no, we don't want that. And so thank God for integrity as well, right? So having integrity is so important, because that's our key as well, is integrity. We want to give back. In fact, we give a lot back to our consumers. When a customer loves their water filter and they recommend us to other people, we actually send them a free gift. We send them a knife set or a cookware set. Like we love to give back. So having integrity with your customer, being honest with your customer, giving back to your customer as a new entrepreneur is crucial to keep that in mind, to always honor and respect your customer.
Yeah. So you have a lot of product listed on your website. I'm looking at that right now. Do you have anything portable for entrepreneurs who are always on the go? They are traveling internationally. Do you have something for them?
We do. For me, again, I take my shower filter with me, but you can also we have it's a molecular hydrogen machine. So you just put filtered water in there and you click on a button and it'll put molecular hydrogen in the water, it's antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, will give you energy as well. That's called the H2 fuel. That's on our website. Really great product that's portable. We are working on a portable filter to take with you. It's difficult with the filter because a lot of times with filters, you need water pressure, right? You need a power, you need not power source, but you need water pressure. So something on the go with filtration is a little difficult. You have people that do Berkey, right? But it's a drip by drip filter. But we're working on something to develop something that is more portable of a filter. So water filtration portably is difficult, but you could do something like a shower filter that's already set up for you, and you can just use the water pressure from your actual shower head coming in, in your hotel. So I would definitely do the H2 fuel. I would do a shower filter. Our pillow, our grounding pillow, I take it everywhere on the airplane, in the hotel. I love our pillow. It's so comfortable. It's full of silver also, so mold bacteria won't grow when you're drooling. And it's also a grounding pillow. So that's a really, really cool product too.
Very nice. Thank you so much for your time, Anna, today. It was a pleasure talking to you. Gained so much of information about healthy living, about healthy technologies, your company, and how you built it, the faith behind it, and how it is changing the lives of so many people all around you. So all the best to you for the growth of your company, and keep bringing in new innovative product that you have a true amazing story. The growth that you have done, and you don't come from a business family where you inherited anything like that. And look at that, so much.
Wow.
I'm just amazed. So many congratulations to you.
Well, praise God. Thank you so much. And I know that my Heavenly Father, my Papa up there, his heart is for people to really live healthy and clean and live a long, beautiful life. He doesn't want all the diseases and all the cancers and everything that's out there. So it's really a mission from heaven to help people. So even if we just educate people to be careful of certain things, then we're doing our job. So thank you, Anshman. It was such a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.